Hi everybody, it's Kim.
John, how are you?
This is Forever Fierce Over 50, and we are just absolutely appalled at what's going on over in Spain. And it is, we believe, a huge problem. So we wanted to talk about it. The one thing I really wanted to talk about is something we noticed about the difference in coverage. So I came across a video from CNN talking about the coverage and, talking about what's going on in Spain, the migrant crisis. And I'll tell you what, I am appalled. Then I watched a video from Fox News, and it's completely different tone in the way it's being looked at. And I will tell you what, it's a little scary. If this is going on, I mean, you can really reference some of the videos that we've seen with the things that were happening at our own southern border under Biden. So with that being said, let's take a look at this video. Let me get us out of the way.
Now, Spain is trying to defuse the migrant crisis in its tiny territory in North Africa. The Spanish government says an estimated 50,000 people crossed over from Morocco to Ceuta in a single day. Local officials say at least 34 people died.
First of all, she's pronouncing it wrong. She said Ceuta. That's not pronounced correctly. It's pronounced Ceuta. And then later, she'll pronounce it even worse. So I don't know if she's retarded or just stupid.
Most by drowning as crowds came across by land and sea.
Look at these freaks.
Just take a look at these extraordinary images. I mean, Ceuta now juts out in.
Do you hear that? Ceuta. That is a different place. Alexa, is there a place called Ceuta?
No, there's no town or city called Ceuta. It's actually a feminine given name, a sweet twist on Susanna, meaning lily or rose.
So the place in Spain that is like on the right by Morocco, that's being overrun with migrants, that's Ceuta, correct? Alexa, the place in Spain that's being overrun with migrants right now, that's in the news, that's Ceuta, correct?
Yep, you're thinking of Ceuta, Spain's tiny North African enclave. It's been hit by a surge of tens of thousands of migrants crossing from Morocco, prompting a humanitarian emergency. Most have already trekked back, but the border crisis left dozens dead and sparked a massive security response.
So saying Ceuta is a very bad mispronunciation of that town, Ceuta, correct?
Yep, Ceuta is way off. The town's name is Ceuta, pronounced Ceuta in American English.
All right, thank you, Alexa.
You got it, Kim. Catch you later.
To the sea from Morocco and has long been a target for migrants trying to reach Europe. Here's a look. We saw a look of the chaotic scenes there. It's unclear what caused the sudden rush. Spain's Prime Minister suggesting it was fueled by a recent Spanish Supreme Court ruling on migrants arriving by sea. The surge is already deepening divisions over migration in Europe. The crowds, mostly made up of young men, celebrated as they entered Spanish territory. Take a listen to what one young man was saying.
Very happy to be here. It's been a very tough experience to go from the ocean. It was very tough. The police officers tried to stop us, but our will and our determination, we could came here.
Okay, so you can tell that they're downplaying how significant this is, don't you think?
Yep.
Seems rather gentle
Yeah, it does.
in the reporting. So let's look at, give me just a second. I'm going to pull up the other video. Let me do this, do some magic tricks behind here so I don't have to offend anybody's vision here. All right, let me get this one. We're going to take a look at what Fox has to say on the situation. And the tone is completely different. So let me get us out of the way. I'll put us down here. All right, here we go.
Chaos erupting in Spain's northern African territory of Ceuta as thousands of...
She said it wrong too.
She's closer.
But she said chaos erupting. And that's what it is, truly.
Yep.
Let's keep going.
Migrants crossed from Morocco. The White House responding to Fox News saying this, quote, President Trump has long warned Europe what would happen if they continued to implement far-left globalist policies, including enabling mass migration. Spain and other countries who have adopted this destructive philosophy should immediately reverse course or risk their own demise.
Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni commenting on X in part, quote, we are prepared to intervene with extraordinary measures to defend the borders and the safety of citizens, including the suspension of the Schengen area with Spain.
Joining us now, former British...
So just so you guys know, the Schengen area with Spain, that is what they do in Europe to allow the different members of the European Union to travel without documentation from one state to the other. So when they go from country to country over in Europe, they're allowed to because of the European Union. That is the Schengen area. Okay.
Parliament candidate with the Brexit Party and Freedom Train International founder Jim Ferguson. Jim, if we can just look at some of the video of these young military-age men pouring into this tiny area that is part of Spain.
Something else I want to point out really, really quickly. If you noticed in the footage from CNN, they showed footage where it looked a lot more orderly. And Fox is showing footage of them.
What the real deal looks like.
Yeah.
Whole
Rampaging
different
and
vibe.
climbing over fences and jumping over and, being an invasion. Because that's what it truly is. It's an invasion.
It is unnerving. Finally, Spain calls out the military, but if these individuals are minors, you can't send them back, can you? Just put this in perspective of why this is happening.
Hi, Dagan. Hi, Marcus. Great to be on with you. Yeah, Europe is facing unprecedented challenges with regards to mass illegal immigration. The United Kingdom's the same, Ireland's the same, pretty much the whole of the Western nations within Europe are facing this unbelievable problem. And you're right to point out, these are not asylum seekers. It's not women and children fleeing war-torn zones. These are young military-aged men, and they're coming in their thousands. This latest episode in Ceuta in Spain was where they came across from Morocco in their thousands. But the socialist governments in Europe seem to be allowing this to happen. A lot of people are arguing that this is by design. Perhaps it's to get votes. Perhaps it's to get them to remain in power. But it's quite unprecedented, and the European people themselves are seeing their communities overrun. This has been happening for a long time now. This latest episode in Ceuta, Spain, I think has brought it back into the focus again, and it's great that Fox News are focusing in on this as well. Up until quite recently, America had the problem at the southern border. With the US administration under Trump, that has now stopped. So hopefully we can get some changes of governments. But Pedro Sanchez is a far-left socialist in Spain, and he's completely losing control, or it may be.
He is a traitor to his own people. if the people of Spain, if they don't stand up and do something and remove this fool from office, they're toast. They're just gone. Now, some people will say that the migrant situation is irreversible at this point. I don't agree. Nothing is irreversible. It can be handled. You just got to have the fortitude to do it. You have to have the stomach for it. And people are getting pushed to the point where we're going to have the stomach for it, because what's the alternative? You think about this place. Alexa, how big is Ceuta, Spain?
Ceuta is only about 7 square miles, 18 and a half square kilometers, a speck of land that could snugly fit inside a mid-sized European neighborhood.
So, Alexa, how many residents of Ceuta, Spain live there normally?
Ceuta is home to roughly 84,000 folks, a dense little speck of Spain on the African coast.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you, Alexa. That's enough.
One thing I noticed he said earlier that minors, a lot of minors, and they can't send them back. Now that,
Yes, they can. They just don't want to.
I thought he said they can't
Yeah,
send
yeah,
them back.
they can't because they made that rule, but all they have to do is unmake that rule and send them back.
Okay,
I mean, right?
you would think.
Yeah,
How are they going
you
to
change the law.
Oh,
They
you can just
put that
change the
law.
law on anything.
Well, they put that law in place so they can unput that law in place, right?
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You have to have the will to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And it needs to be willed into existence to get rid of these people. I'm telling you, I'm a lot harsher than most people. I would have been out there shooting them in the ocean, because then they would have turned back, right? If they're getting shot, they're not going to come. I mean, what do you think the difference is with the border in Poland? The border in Poland is enforced, so they don't come, or they don't come in droves like that.
Yeah. And
But-
plus,
No, go ahead.
they are all men, no women or children. And that is an invasion. They're over there to take over.
Right. That has been part of Spain since
15
the 1500s.
Yeah.
So, what, 1580, I think they said.
Yeah.
So that's
500 years.
almost 500 years. So it's Spain, sorry, but they're trying to take it away from Spain. And right now it looks like they're being pretty successful at that, because if there's 80 something thousand, whatever she said in regard to how many people, then we have to know 50,000 people is almost the entire population. That entire population of people has to eat. They got there with the skin on their back. That's it. They have to drink. They have to go to the bathroom. They're going to relieve themselves somewhere. So
In the
you can
street.
imagine, yeah. And they showed a video of police outside the grocery stores there guarding to keep these people from going in and stealing everything. There's already footage of them breaking into people's houses and stealing things from stores. And you think they're going to come over there and be all, okay, I'll wait till you can take care of me. No, they're going to get what they need to get.
Yeah.
Right? And that's happening. And there's going to be shit in the streets, because that's how these people roll anyway. Right? That's just what they do. So let's keep watching.
Be worse than that. It might be by design.
Jim, when you look at the risk, and we see this on camera, and obviously this is just a microcosm of things that are out there, what other parts of Europe do you think are really vulnerable to this sort of mentality, and how do you stop it? And what does the United States need to do, if anything, to be involved in this process?
Well, first of all, I'll take the second point first. I think what Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, has done very recently in inviting, I think, up to 60 nations so far have joined this task force to combat serious far-left violence. Groups like Antifa, BLM, the list goes on. But more importantly, what's going on in Europe right now, they have warned. Marco Rubio's warned it, J.D. Vance, the Vice President, and Trump has just recently described it as an invasion. These are powerful words. but
It
I
is
think
an
he's right to
invasion.
say it. What we need to do is put an immediate halt to mass illegal immigration coming across into Europe and, of course, the UK as well. But the governments are not doing enough about it. They could stop it, they could halt it if they really wanted to. But their
That's right.
socialist mentality is they want to invite everybody in. They want to be seen to be kind and fair. But they're ignoring the wishes and the concerns of their own electorate, the people that actually voted them into power, and putting their communities at risk. And of course, we've seen a big rise in violent crime all across the West, not just in the United Kingdom, but in Ireland as well. And the recent attacks in Germany show that there is a big problem because it could also have terrorist links as well. So national security is a huge threat, or a real threat to national security in terms of who's coming in. Are they undocumented? Yes. Do they have their passports? No, they don't. They don't know who they are. And they're being put up into hotels, certainly in the United Kingdom, and just basically just doing whatever they want.
So think about this too. He said in the United Kingdom, they're putting them up in hotels. In a town of 80 whatever thousand people, 50, 60,000, I've heard some reports say, that's the entire town basically, right? Where are they going to put them?
Yeah.
These freaks are trying to get over to mainland Spain. And then what? You know, they're going to destroy, they're like locusts. They're destroying everything that they come across in order to get what they want. What about the rights of the people who live in Ceuta, Spain? What about the person that's there living there with their family, and these freaks are breaking through the windows, knocking down the doors to come in and take your house?
That's what they're going to, they take the house.
And move in, because
yeah.
apparently, now I don't know how true this is, but I heard this, that they have a law that if you go undetected for a certain amount of time, then if you've taken a house and you go undetected, then all of a sudden it's your house. So we're looking at the population, the native population of that town being eliminated. Like eliminated. What happened to their rights? What happened to kindness toward their own people? Right? What happened to that? They're not going to have any food. They're not going to have any water. And they're not going to have sanitary conditions if they got 60,000 people shitting in the streets. Sorry to be so crude, but that's the case, right? Let's keep watching.
This happened before, Jim, in Ceuta. That about 5 years ago, Ceuta, only about 85,000 people live there, and some 10,000 people from Morocco and sub-Saharan Africa crossed, again, many of them minors, crossed in. And I just wanted to note, you mentioned Pedro Sanchez, the prime minister.
But how do you know they're minors? They don't have any papers.
That's true.
They don't have any identification. You're relying on their word.
Yeah.
And they've been told to say that they're a minor so they don't get kicked out, right? So the ones that look young, I'm sure, have been said to say. But I mean, we've seen it in our own country, right? You've got 27-year-old men put in high schools because they said they were underage.
Yeah, and they do it for different reasons, just from going to school.
They're doing it. They're doing it to have close proximity to the young girls.
Yeah, pedophile.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And another thing, they called them all minors, but I've seen a bunch of them that look like they're in their 40s.
Well,
A bunch of old
right.
bigger-
He didn't say they're all minors, but there's supposedly some.
Yeah,
I
well,
doubt
they're
there's
not
hardly any.
Yeah.
Spain, a far left individual politician. He wrote in the New York Times in an op-ed in February, "The West needs people. Currently, few of its countries have a rising population growth. Unless they embrace migration, they will experience a sharp demographic decline that will prevent them from keeping their economies and public services afloat."
But we don't have to. We don't have to. What if we took the money that we spent on these migrants and supported our own people to have children? If we made it So women didn't have to have a job and the man have to have a job, so that I mean, they've told us women that we should be working, and they told us it's stupid to have a family, and they've told us we are just as capable of doing anything a man can do, which is not true.
That's right.
And they've taught us that we shouldn't have children, have families. Families are stupid. We don't want that. And they've been very successful at that. But if they redirected that energy into our young people and helped them to have a house and support the women so they could stay home and raise a family, we wouldn't have a population problem. We have a population problem because they designed it that way. That's the truth.
Yep.
That what he had in mind right there, what we're looking at?
I think he, this is the mindset of the far left, and it's the same with the Democrats in the United States. I mean, they've gone almost completely communistic in their outlooks, but they're forgetting it with good policies, family-friendly policies, tax breaks for working families, helping to create new business, the mom and pop stores. These are the kind of things that actually help the economy. They don't need to take in thousands of potential terrorists, because that's really what they could be, and certainly those who are breaking the law and creating violent crime.
Stopping the inflow can happen. Our border is closed, but trying to deport people who are already here, that's the tough part. And President Trump has experienced that with the pushback from the left. Jim Ferguson, great to see you.
Thanks, Jim.
But again, it's only tough because we make it tough. It doesn't have to be tough. It can be very systematic. It can be done. We just have to have the stomach to do it. And I think that we need to have the stomach to do it. I think that it's super important to get it done. I think that, they're lying to you. They're lying to you all the time, telling you that we can't do it, that it's too late. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this screen down here properly. I'm new at this, and it's definitely a learning curve. But, it's absolutely nuts that they're treating our own citizens this way, right? We are being turned into second-class citizens in our own countries, and it is wrong. It is completely wrong what they're doing to us.
Yep. And it's happening everywhere. And that makes me wonder who's in control of the world. Is in control of the world. I mean, everything's the same. They're trying to do the same thing everywhere as what's going on here and there. And in London, holy smokes, and Germany, everywhere
right.
now.
And
Paris.
They say that, this isn't helpful. We have to have these migrants. Well, things aren't getting better as we get more of them. Things are getting worse. Much, much worse. It is not helping us. We're spending untold amounts of money, and to find out that these people are ripping us off, like the Somalis. And it's not just the Somalis either. It's the Chinese. It's the people from Africa. All of them are ripping us off to the tune of many, many billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. And it's got to stop. Yep. When are we going to stand up for ourselves? Because our government isn't going to do it.
Nope.
We have to do it. We have to take back the power that in this country was for the people, by the people, for the people, right? But we're not that anymore. We need to do that again. We need to turn this country back into what our founding fathers designed for us. Anyway, any last words from you?
No.
You disgusted? It's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
I
and
remember,
it's been like that for years and years and years, though. I mean, we elected these people to do the job Right, and they all do it wrong.
They're all screwing us.
Yeah, they are.
Anyway, during the Biden fiasco, I remember when he was running for office. Running for office, my
crawling?
ass. Well, that whole thing was.
Yeah, it was all
Anyway,
set up.
He said, or maybe it was Hillary. He wants us to go back to the 1950s.
50s were great.
Honestly, women weren't forced into the workplace. Families were strong.
Very strong.
You could own a house and a car and go on vacation on one person's salary. Now we make so much money, and it's getting us what? Misery, illness. Everybody's chronically ill. Everybody's chronically fatigued, and for more than one reason. But we'll get into that on another show.
Yes.
But yeah, it's nuts, and I think I'm completely over it. What about you?
I am also. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm Kim.
I'm John.
And thanks for watching Forever Fierce Over 50. We do our live streams. When do we do it?
Friday,
Wednesday
and Sunday.
That's right. Thank you.
But we made a mistake. We thought it was Sunday.
No,
we didn't.
we're trying to get better at this, so we
Yeah.
thought we'd throw an extra one in there. And I think from time to time we'll probably be doing that
that'd be fun to do.
because we're starting to get a little bit better. So that's
Yeah,
exciting.
we are.
I know. Anyway. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye-bye.